How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks. We focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be going over SPY, QQQ, and as well as IWM. I know many of you are saying, Dre, we want to know your key levels. What do you see the market looking like for this week? So of course I have to put this video out there. I also want to let you guys know, if you're new to this channel, we do have timestamps down below inside the description, since I do value your time. And then when we finish going through these tickers, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. So let's get into that right now.
So we're going to take a look at the chart for SPY. You can see that we closed at 390.76, being down 0.38%. On the low, it tested 388.42, and then on the high, testing 394.12. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 75.873 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 71.894 million shares. So we had above average volume and we had a pullback as well. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, here's some key levels that I want you guys to pay attention to. So we ended up seeing a low at 388.42. So if we end up having a break below this level going into tomorrow, what you want to watch is right here around 385. If we're unable to hold 385, that's where we can see SPY maybe wanting to fill in that gap at 378.61. Is this going to happen all in one day? Of course not, but it could happen for this week. But please be aware of that gap that needs to be filled at 378.60. Now, the next area that I want you guys to be paying attention to, if we end up having a reversal, we ended up seeing a high at 394. So we know the key level to watch is right at 395. If we could have a break above 395, that opens the door for SPY wanting to make a move to 400 and as well as 401. And that actually lines up right where we have our 50-day moving average, which is at 401.7. If we have momentum and we're able to move up further, then you can see if it can go to 403. But in my personal opinion, if we make a move up to 401, I can see a lot of sellers up here wanting to bring this price all the way back down, and that's where we can take out the lows even that we saw today at 388. So add that to your homework if you're going to be trading the SPY. We saw that 390 was holding up very well, and the fact that we tested 388.42, 385 to me seems like it could be right around the corner. Taking a look at QQQ, we closed at 293.05, being down 0.72%. On the low, we tested 290.87, and then on the high, testing 296.60. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 56.203 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 50.736 million shares. So you can see that we had above average volume, and of course we had a pullback as well. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, not only are we trading below all of our major moving averages here, but this 290 level is an area that you want to watch very closely going into tomorrow. If we end up breaking through 290, QQQ can come down to test 287. If 287 does not hold, that's where we could see a move coming all the way down to 280. So please add that to your homework if you haven't done so already. If you want to see a reversal out of this play, which is very doable since we do have turnaround Tuesday, we had a high at 296.60. So if we can get a break above that level, then the next area you want to watch is right here at 303.76. And the reason why this area is important, if we end up getting a break, then we can start seeing 305 or even getting to around 307. But again, it's going to take a lot of buying pressure coming into these markets, so that's why in my personal opinion I don't see QQQ getting above 307 for this week. I could see it actually wanting to come down to test 287 since it did test 294 today, and we can get that possible move going to 280 for this week. Another area to watch if we end up breaking through this 280 area will be right here around 275. The break below 275 could easily send QQQ down to 269, so I'll be watching that very closely. Taking a look at IWM, we closed at 178.31, being down 0.99%. On the low, we tested 177.50, and then on the high, testing 181.08. So we could see quite the range on the day and a good amount of selling. When we take a look at the volume now, you can see we traded at 23.426 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 21.65 million shares. So we had above average volume as well. When we take a look at our daily chart, not only are we trading below all of our major moving averages, but we're in a very key area here. So we ended up testing a low at 177.50. And if you guys remember what I said in my previous video when we were taking a look at the overall market, we wanted to see what happened back in June and why it has so much significance. So the reason why it has significance, if we break through 177.50, where was the next level that we were able to show up and where we had resistance on the next day? It was at 175.07. So what does that mean? 175 is an area to watch going into tomorrow. You can see that I selected right here around 174.86, but most importantly 175. Watch it very closely. If we break 175, that's where we can come down to 172, and below 172, that's where we could see IWM wanting to get down to 170. So please add that to your notes. If you want to see a turnaround, we ended up seeing a high at 181.08. So you want to see a break above that high, and the most I could see IWM wanting to get to would probably be right here around the 50-day moving average, which is at 183.80, and that's where I could see resistance coming in, that selling pressure, and then bringing the stock back down. Also, we are in the month of September. That comes with a lot of volatility, so that's why I see this pullback continuing further. But you guys know those levels look for the upside as well as for the downside, and if you see IWM continuing to sell off, of course it's going to be affecting SPY and as well as QQQ, because that tells us, as far as for the overall market, they are definitely going to risk off. Let's move on to the final thoughts.
So for my final thoughts for SPY, QQQ, and as well as IWM, of course we can't look at these plays like how we look at individual stocks on the channel, but it does give us a good idea of the direction of the market. So knowing that we ended up having a pullback to some key levels, I want to make sure that you guys are prepared for this coming week. So make sure that you check out the chart portion of this video. But with that said, let's think about the economic conditions that are going on. We're seeing a lot of strength in the US dollar. It was seeing quite some movement first thing in the morning, and that's when I told everyone inside of the Discord there's a strong possibility we will have a strong dip in the morning, and that's exactly what we got when the SPY came down to testing the $388 range. We also took into consideration the 10-year treasury yield. It was around 3.24%, and I'm like, you know what, that is relatively high. But why does that matter to growth stocks? We have to know it's more expensive to purchase them. They don't want the 10-year yield spiking like that. And the reason why this becomes even more apparent, you could see with IWM, which represents the small and mid cap stocks, it pulled back, and they had significant pullbacks compared to the bigger cap stocks. And why is that? Again, they are not consistently profitable. Plays that we talk about on this channel, like SoFi, like Lucid, like Polestar, and as well as taking into consideration Mullen. These plays are not looked at favorably, but at the same time, there are certain factors that are in place that can get these stocks moving. Perfect example of that is Mullen. But as far as for the other plays and even all the other growth stock plays, we know for the month of September, since I gave you guys that warning, there's going to be a lot of volatility. And it's also known for being one of the weakest months for the stock market. So a lot of plays are not going to be performing well, but keeping an eye on SPY, QQQ, IWM will definitely put you ahead of the pack, and you'll have a good idea of what the market conditions can look like overall, and also have a base to say, well, you know what, this is where I want to buy my calls, and this is where I want to buy my puts. If you're new to options, or if you're not comfortable with playing options, then I highly suggest you join us inside of the Discord, because you will be able to have a game plan before the market opens. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be talking to you guys real soon.